The decisions you make are never wrong. Because the moment you make the decisions, you always think that your decision will work for the right, and then you make the decision. Okay, you analyze all the experience you have had. You just don't go and just make the decision. No. You think over it, you think all the circumstances that can go around, and then you choose something. But when you say your decision is wrong, it's not because the decision is wrong, it's not because your choice is wrong, it's because it didn't go as expected. As I mentioned, future is uncertain and we will never know how it's going to unwrap. Okay. Hey beautiful souls, Taranpreet here, and today we'll talk about something that we all face: doubting our decisions. When your heart says one thing and your mind says another, and fear whispers, what if this goes wrong? The thing about future is we don't know what's going to happen, and this is something that will be permanent. This is something that we'll never be certain about. And the uncertainty of the future, it scares us. It scares us bad. But guess what? Fear is not always a sign to stop. Sometimes fear just means that we are getting out of our comfort zone and we are growing. There have been times in my life where I've had to make some difficult decisions. I had to choose in between comfort and growth, and I had to choose between staying and walking away. And guess how I made my decisions? I don't know. At the moment, I didn't have any experience. I did not have any guarantee on how the future will look like if I make the decision. Will I make the decision right? There were a million questions in my head. What would happen if this goes wrong? What would happen if the decision does not go as expected? And this is always a question in your mind. What if this goes wrong? Sometimes you're just certain you know what to choose, and sometimes you're not, and that's totally fine. When I had those moments, I always say and believe strongly that my life is magically created and pieces fall right into place. So even though I didn't have any experience, I always had some sort of indications from universe on what to choose. Some whispers telling me that this is something that's right for you, even though if it's hard for short term, this is something you live with. And that's how I made my decisions at the time. It's crazy. And honestly, I don't regret any of my decisions, and neither should you. Okay, if you want to take one thing away from this video, let it be this, okay? Listen to it. Open your ear, open your mind, sit down, just listen to it. The decisions you make are never wrong. The decisions you make are never wrong. Because the moment you make the decisions, you always think that your decision will work for the right, and then you make the decision. Okay, you analyze all the experience you have had. You just don't go and just make the decision. No. You think over it, you think all the circumstances that can go around, and then you choose something. But when you say your decision is wrong, it's not because the decision is wrong, it's not because your choice is wrong, it's because it didn't go as expected. As I mentioned, future is uncertain and we will never know how it's going to unwrap. Okay, so when you make a decision, you think of certain scenarios. You think, okay, if I choose this thing, it's gonna go this way. But that's not always the case. You don't know future. Sometimes things don't go planned, and that's totally fine. That does not make your decisions to go wrong. So the moment you make the decision, it's always right. It's later on that we get to know that it went south. It didn't go as planned. So there's no point on regretting on your decisions. And one more thing is, when you make the decision, you analyze all of your experience that you have had. And after a few years, you gain more experience, more wisdom. You have spent more life into the journey of this life with many more people. And then you're like, I wish I would have done it this way. You wish. But you were not wrong at this point of time. You used all of the experience that you had. So your decisions are never wrong. And when you say, I wish I would have done it this way, that is a disrespect to your younger self because you don't trust her. You're doubting that she didn't make the right decision, which she did, which she used all of her experience and she made the right decision. We don't know what future is. Things don't go planned. You think, oh, if I choose the option two and this is how it goes, it's going to be fine. No, that's not what decision making is. And every single day, not every single day, some days you have so difficult decisions to make in your life that it could affect your life in positive or negative way both. And sometimes choice can be very hard. Choosing something can be very hard. A fun fact about me, I hate shopping because when I go to shop something and there are so many options in it, I can't choose. And I hate it for a fact that I hate shopping just because I can't choose one thing. And that's how life is. Sometimes you have two options and you want to go with both, but that's impossible. You have to choose one. And how do you do that? How do you make the difficult decisions? With the experience, I have gained a little more experience with life, you know. And I have this technique called look at the repercussions. And see, as time goes by, you'll figure out your own ways on how to make decisions, especially the difficult ones. But till you do figure out your own ways, just use mine. I don't mind. What I do is I just sit with the choices and I think of the worst ways the choices can go. If I make a decision on option 1, what is the worst way it will go? And option 2, what is the worst way it could go? And now you'll be like, but Taran, don't we always have to think about the positive thing? Yes, you have to. You know, in my 6th grade, I heard this quote, which is still stuck to me so bad, and I'll never forget it in my life. It's called Hope for the Best and Be Prepared for the Worst. So, yes, we are hoping for the best. And yes, we know best is going to come, but be prepared for the worst so you can fall back on. And never in my life I have ever felt that I don't know what to do because I have always been prepared for things that could happen. And I think it also comes from my upbringing in a military family. They do create you as a strong-minded individual so you can handle yourself in any situation, which is a plus point. So just think of your choices as what if this goes wrong, or just think of what if this doesn't go as I'm planning. And 10 years down the road, if your decision does not go well, will you be able to live with it and look yourself in the eye and smile? If yes, then go for it. If no, then don't make that decision because future is uncertain. Yes, it will go the best way possible, but there are chances it could not. And you don't want to leave things on chances. At least for me, I don't like leaving things on chances. A few weeks ago, I had a very difficult decision that I had to make. And I didn't make it like in a day. No, I took my time. I took 10 whole days. I was thinking about it over and over again. There was so much emotional mess. But then how did I choose what I wanted? It's because I knew my values. So the second most important thing is you need to figure out your values because when you know your values, it's just so easy for you to choose your decisions. You will choose the option that will align with your value. The values you will not sacrifice on. And for knowing your values, you'll have to spend more time with you. What do you respect in people? What is your value? What do you value? It's such an important word in human life. I feel once you know what you value the most in your life, it could be a mostly values are non-physical trait, of course. But once you know what you value in your life, it's so easy for you to go through your life because you just know what to choose. Does this align with my value? Would I let this happen to me? Would I be okay if this thing happened to my child? That's the best way to make the decisions. And again, your decisions are never wrong. So if I'm making one decision today and it does not go as planned, it does not mean that I am not making the right decision. I did make the right decision. It's just that it didn't go as I planned it. Future is uncertain. And guess what? You are okay to be unsure and you are okay to be scared. But don't let that fear stop you from growing, stop you from making decisions, stop you from experiencing the adventure of this life. And this life is actually an adventure. This life is all about becoming. You don't have to get it right. Nowhere in the holy books it's mentioned that you have to get life right. Human life is just an experience we are going through. So just experience every single thing. Your decision goes right, experience the happiness, experience the satisfaction, experience the knowing what's happening. And if it does not, just experience what's happening. If you feel like your decision could have been better, just see what you did. When you made the decision, what were your thoughts? How did you come at this point that you made this decision? That's how you learn. That's how you learn life. You will never learn from me telling you on how to make decisions. No. And sometimes we are so protective of some people in our life, like our siblings, our kids, and sometimes we make decisions for them, which is totally wrong. You let them make decisions for them, because if you start making decisions for them and if they are dependent on you for making decisions for them, they'll be dependent on you for their entire life. And you don't want that. You want your people to be independent of you. There's this one great thing I live by: if I love you, I will not make you to be dependent on me, because if something happens to me, how will you survive? If people keep you dependent on themselves, they don't love you enough. That's just a law of power. Let me tell you straight. 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene states, keep people dependent on you. But if you love them, you should not. You should let your people be independent of you, because they should know how to live life. If something happens to you, they know what to do, when to do, where to get it done. Teach them. Be their mentor, not getting things done for them. And I hope this video helped you get a little bit of clarity on how you can make difficult decisions, or a little bit of clarity on not feeling bad if something goes south. Because, guys, again, the future is uncertain. You will never be able to make a decision that is 100% right. If I made the decision a few weeks ago, I just made it because if things go south, I can live with my decision. Okay? That's the normal way. You have to live with yourself, and you only sacrifice on things that you can. You never sacrifice on something that your soul doesn't allow, and doesn't matter what you have to leave for it. Doesn't matter what you have to leave for it. Don't adjust on the things your soul or your inner you doesn't allow, because you'll be miserable for the next of your life or rest of your life if you do that, if you do sacrifice things that your soul doesn't allow. And if this video resonated with you, leave a comment with one decision that you're struggling with or have overcome. I would love to hear your story. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone you feel needs it today. This reminder is something everyone needs, so that you can be out of your guilt trip. And listen, believe me when I say this, and I promise to you that you're doing way better than you think you are. Human mind has a capability of belittling itself and naming it humbleness. You're doing way better than you can. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.